Manhattan, the economic center of the United States. Decisions here can send shockwaves that are felt across the world. On this 22-mile island, about $1 trillion of activity generates every year. But there is a risk sitting just a few feet away from the skyscrapers and the bustling streets. Water. Low-lying landmass and rising sea levels are an inconvenient challenge. In 2012, Hurricane Sandy was a major wake-up call.
Had greater consequences than anyone anticipated.
Barry Hirsch is a member of the New York City Waterfront Alliance and has helped with the coastal redevelopment for the last few decades.
Basically closed down Lower Manhattan for a couple of weeks. So you had a lot of building construction, sewer lines, subway lines that had to be rebuilt.
The closure of Lower Manhattan meant bringing Wall Street, the New York Stock Exchange, Dow Jones, the Fed, the center of the proverbial financial universe, to a grinding halt. Losses were estimated to be well over $100 billion. But as we know, nothing galvanizes the government quicker than hearing that Wall Street is hurting. New York needed to react. But they were late to the game. Incredibly, this worked in the city's favor in some ways, because there were other cities they could use as a resource.
I think American culture is more of a reactive culture. We're good at mobilizing after the fact, but we're not really wired to be prepared for what could happen.
Carter Craft is an expert on the waterfronts and has actually worked hand-in-hand with Dutch engineers to help plan out the future of New York City. His office at the consulate showcases an extensive commitment to water technology sharing.
You know, the Dutch have been dealing with it together for more than 900 years. Some say it was the risk of flooding that forced, Dutch residents way back when in the Netherlands to work together and to form a government because collective action was needed.
In the Netherlands, the strategy is called living with the water, using flooding and sea level rise as an opportunity for coastal redevelopment.
Living with the water is accepting the fact that we all face vulnerability to floods, whether it's coastal storms or whether it's extreme downpours, and we can't just spend all our money trying to keep it out. We should let it in where we can.
The challenge for Manhattan was there are no plains or basins for the water to spill out of. This meant a hybrid solution was adopted. Living with the water on steroids, you could say.
We don't have a lot of space to put the water, so they ended up, with a design that elevated the park out of harm's way.
Today, go to the southern tip of Manhattan, and this is what you will see: unassuming green space, a wildlife, elevated surfaces, and seawalls blend into the existing architecture.
The South Battery Park City Resiliency Project is made up of actually several discrete flood protection measures.
Ryan Connolly was the chief project manager for Robert Wagner Park, located in Battery Park City.
So here we're at street level at Battery Place, and if you look to the right here, we've got these landscaped ramps, we call them alleys, these alley of trees that take you up to the new park level, which is about 10.5 feet higher than the existing street level. And the reason that the park and the pavilion are raised is to hide a buried flood wall, which the buried flood wall you can see comes out here in this kind of stone cladding, and that ties into a flip-up floodgate over here, which, if there's a storm surge event, will flip up and complete the flood barrier from Wagner Park around Pier A to the Battery. I think this project is a good example because it uses several different strategies, right? There's exposed flood walls, there's flip-up floodgates, there's buried flood walls, there's removable flood barriers, there's kind of this absorptive landscaping. There's not a one-size-fits-all solution, but there's many different strategies.
As for the future, America's thoughts about these threats may require a cultural shift. Less politicization, less trepidation, more innovation, and more of a game plan on how to address the black swan.
The black swan is something that happens very rarely. I know swans are white, but there are occasionally black ones. And how do you predict that?
I think in this country we really need to find ways and some patience to take the longer view, because realizing these longer term solutions for our safety, for our economic productivity, for our life and livelihoods takes a long time. So we got to find the ways to be patient and not just rush to rebuild every time a disaster strikes.